Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 13 of the greatest university series of all time, Run It Back. I am your host and zero-time Grammy-winning, zero-time Super Bowl MVP, and the most handsome man according to my grandma, Kyler Elliott. We have a show filled with things going on at KU and the pros. I am so pumped for today as I try to cope from Saturday. But I'll talk about that later. For now, let's alley-oop our way into Run It Back. Oof. This week was rough for the Sunflower Showdown, with the volleyball and football teams losing their games to the Wildcats. However, the women's golf team just got back from Hawaii, where they placed 10th as a team. And KU basketball is finally underway after the men played an exhibition game against number 11 Louisville, and both the men and women will play against Fort Hays State later this week. But let's go to Zach for a football recap.
Thank you, Kyler. Wow. While most of us had plans of rushing the field and finally ending the 16-year streak, the universe sadly had other plans. The cold and rainy game on Saturday ended in disappointment as Kansas State added another win to their win streak, beating KU 42-17. The game started hot for the Jayhawks when Kansas State kick returner fumbled the ball on the opening kickoff, setting the KU offense up for an easy opening touchdown, putting KU up 7-0. After that, it got pretty rough out there for the Jayhawks as Kansas State scored 3 times in a row, ending the first quarter 21-7. After a long and boring second quarter, the Jayhawks finally put together a drive at the end of the first half that ended with a Daniel Highshaw rushing touchdown, cutting the lead to 7 going into halftime. The rest of the game was extremely rough as the Jayhawks only managed to score another 3 points off of a Laith Marjan 47-yard field goal in the third quarter. To bring a little bit of light onto that disappointing game, Daniel Highshaw had a great game, putting up 19 carries for 67 yards and 1 touchdown. After the loss on Saturday, the Jayhawks record falls to 4-4. This weekend, the Jayhawks face off against the Oklahoma State Cowboys for KU's homecoming. But for now, let's send it over to Logan for an update on KU volleyball.
Thanks, Zach. And the Sunflower Showdown wasn't just on the football field this weekend. It started on the volleyball court. On Friday night, inside a packed Allen Fieldhouse, Kansas State defeated Kansas in a 5-set thriller, handing the Jayhawks a 3-2 loss in front of 7,550 fans. The Jayhawks opened strong, taking the first set 25-14, but the Wildcats retaliated 25-17 in the second. Kansas responded again with a 25-18 win in the third, and Kansas dominated early in the fourth set, leading 15-9 until K-State rallied late to win 25-23. And then closed out the match 15-8 in the fifth. While Ryan Swanson added 11 kills, Katie Dalton had 36 assists and 17 digs, and Ryan White led the defense with 20 digs. Aurora Papak recorded a team-high 7 blocks, while Reese Patak and Grace Nelson each contributed 8 kills. Head coach Matt Ulmer said after the match, "We didn't execute the way we needed tonight, and Kansas State capitalized. While this was a learning opportunity." He also praised Jayhawk Nation for packing the fieldhouse, saying the crowd was unbelievable. The loss snaps Kansas's 5-match win streak, dropping them 15-8 overall and 6-3 in Big 12 play. Kansas State improves 11-6 and 4-5 in conference. Friday's results tightens the historic Sunflower Showdown series. Kansas now trails Kansas State 49-58 all time. The Jayhawks will now look to bounce back on the road this Thursday, October 30th, when they face Cincinnati in an away match. For more updates on KU women's volleyball, follow their Instagram and X, and visit kuathletics.com for more full coverage. Now to Jane with KU women's golf.
Thank you, Logan. On to women's golf team end-season tournament highlights and a preview of men's golf team. The women's golf team finished 10th out of 19 different universities on October 20th to the 22nd, finishing the tournament with a score of 883, 19 strokes over, ending their fall season with a ranking of 32 in scoreboard rankings. Ebba Nordstedt and Amy Deacock led the Jayhawks in the third round tournament, tying for the 18th place and 2 strokes above par. Amy Deacock moved up 26 places after being 3 under par in round 3, shooting a 69. She ended the tournament tying 18th with a score of 218. Ebba Nordstedt also had a great start in the tournament, shooting 2 under for the first round and even for the second round. Ebba short 4 over par on the third round, ending the tournament with a score of 218, also tying 18th. Stay tuned for the women's spring season as we head on to the men's golf preview in Hawaii, where they play against Gonzaga, Indiana, Oklahoma, and many more universities you don't want to miss. As the men's golf prepares for this tournament in Hawaii, they are looking for another placement following the 3rd place in the Quail Valley Invitational. And to end the fall season off strong, Arthur Carlier is looking to end the season strong from his last tournament, being 6 strokes over par when he started strong on the first day, being 4 under. Other Jayhawks like William Baker and Hartej Gruwell are looking to place high again in the tournament as he tied for second in the last tournament, shooting a 66. Gruwell tied for 5th, shooting 10 under par. The Jayhawks have proved that they have potential to win Invitational this season, with guys like William Keane and Luke Honer, who have placed in the top 20th last season. I think the Jayhawks have enough talent for the men's team to do well as they end the season. To keep up to date with the men's and women's golf, follow their X, Facebook, and Instagram, KU Men's Golf and KU Women's Golf. Now on to KU Basketball with Luke.
Thank you, Jane. Last Friday night, the KU men's basketball team took on the Louisville Cardinals in an exhibition game. While this game didn't count for the record, it was the first opportunity for the fans to see what this year's team looks like in a competitive game. There was lots to be excited about in this one, but one man was the center of it all. The Darren
5 here. Peterson will lift.
It'll
be a lot of fun as Peterson.
26 points with 24 of the 26 coming in the first half. Peterson was lights out, shooting 9 for 15 from the field and 6 from 10 from beyond the arc. The freshman is projected to be a top 3 pick in the upcoming NBA draft, but before he goes to the NBA, KU fans will get to watch him for a season. Here's what you need to know about him. Coming into the season, he was ranked as the #1 player in the country. Last week, he was named the Big 12 Freshman of the Year, and he was selected to the preseason All-Big 12 team. What we saw Friday night against Louisville is what we're going to be seeing a lot of this year. The other part of the Jayhawks win on Friday was sophomore big man Flory Badunga. He tallied 14 points and 6 rebounds in 22 minutes. Flory is expected to be a big piece for the Jayhawks this year. His athleticism and defensive skills are going to make him a centerpiece for this year's squad. The Jayhawks received contributions from other players such as Trey White, who had 14 points, and Bryson Tiller, who added 12. Overall, it was a very good showing for the Jayhawks, and even though it's just an exhibition, it gives fans lots to be excited about for the season. KU is back in the Fieldhouse tomorrow night at 7 p.m. for a game against Fort Hays State. That's it for me today. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Three days later. 3 days later.
My King Xander returns to bring you the super, splendid, sacred Sunday scoreboard. It's also time for the World Series as the Toronto Blue Jays and the LA Dodgers are tied at 1 game apiece and will play Game 3 tonight. The NBA has finally returned as we've already seen some crazy stuff happen this season. Finally, we're going to be darting it up with Landon. For now, it's time for the NFL Sunday scoreboard.
Thanks, Kyler. Well, that's the nicest introduction I've ever gotten, and it's been a few weeks since we've gotten to do one of these. I couldn't be happier to be back. Let's get right into it with the morning slate. Starting at the top, not Lamar Jackson, but Tyler Huntley quarterbacked the Ravens in a victory over the Bears for the Ravens' second win of the season. The Bills demolished the Andy Dalton-led Panthers, and of course, the most important game of the day saw Drake May tear apart everyone on the Browns' defense not named Myles Garrett, and the New England Patriots are 6-2, and I'm sure everybody is as thrilled about this as I am. Checking out the rest of the morning slate, we saw the Dolphins manhandle the Kirk Cousins-led Falcons behind 4 Tua touchdowns. The Texans hold on to beat the 49ers, and the Eagles redeemed their loss from a few weeks ago with a blowout victory over the Giants. Cam Scatterboo, you will be missed. But by far, the game of the day was the Jets versus the Bengals. After being down 2 scores on multiple occasions, Reese Hall of all people throws this touchdown pass for the Jets to take the lead, and they held on, getting their first win of the season. What a comeback, and what a victory for a fan base that desperately needed one. After that exciting finish, we jump into the afternoon slate that saw, wouldn't you know it, more blowouts. The Buccaneers defense dominated Spencer Rattler and Tyler Schuff, giving up only 3 points in the easy victory. Jonathan Taylor scored 3 touchdowns in another Colts domination. Words I've shockingly been saying a lot this season. And 10 in the afternoon, Bo Nix and the Broncos cruised to an easy victory behind his 4-touchdown pass on what is just an awful Cowboys defense. And of course, we ended with Sunday Night Football, where the Packers came from behind and beat Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers by a score of 35-25. That's all for this week's Sunday scoreboard. Now let's head over to Michael for an update on Major League Baseball.
Well, folks, Sunday wasn't the only day with some scoreboards because the MLB World Series is officially underway, with the Blue Jays defeating the Mariners in a tough-fought battle all the way to Game 7 in the ALCS, and the Dodgers completing a full game sweep against the Brewers in the NLCS. And with the series already being tied 1-1, these two teams have set the stage for an epic fall classic. The first 2 games in Toronto did not disappoint, as history is being made between these teams. Game 1 of the series was an absolute domination by the Birds in Blue. The Blue Jays made sure to make a statement against the defending champions in the first game of the series, winning 11 runs to 4, all helped to a historic 9-run 6th inning where the Dodgers bullpen completely ran out of steam. In that same inning, Addison Barger made history as the first pinch hitter to ever hit a grand slam in World Series history with a 434-foot bomb. However, everyone does have their off days, as the defending champion Dodgers came back hard in Game 2. Dodgers pitcher Yoshinobu Yamamoto threw his second straight complete postseason game, leading the Dodgers to win 5-1. Not only was this an absolute pitching showcase for the Dodgers, but a much important rest opportunity for their bullpen against the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays bullpen has a 5.52 ERA in the playoffs and an even worse 5.70 fielding independent pitching rating. With Toronto's bullpen already struggling this postseason, they're going to have to shape things up if they want to keep up with the Dodgers' stacked pitching lineup, especially with an extra day of rest. These 2 games have been everything but uneventful, and it's shaping up to be a battle of the bullpens for the remainder of the series. Toronto has a lot to work on in the bullpen, but if they can tap into that Game 1 magic, this series could get down to the best 2 words in sports, Game 7. Game 3, however, goes live tonight from Los Angeles. Now to Atakai for word on the NBA season starting.
I'm certainly looking forward to that first pitch tonight, but something I no longer have to look forward to is the start of the NBA season. Games tipped off last Tuesday in OKC after their championship ring ceremony, and things have been pandemonium since. 2 of last year's 13 seeds have not lost a game yet, while juggernauts like the Celtics, Rockets, and Pacers have yet to win. LeBron missed his first opening day in 23 years, and Victor Wembanyama looks like he's coasting to a DPOY as well as an MVP. What's real? What's just a hot start? And what will this NBA season look like? These are just some of the questions I'm looking at today. One thing that is definitely real is that the East is wide open. The Celtics look awful without Jason Tatum, and you can tell their players are out of their roles. Jaylen Brown is not a playmaking star. Derek White, while much improved, is not a second option for a contender, and Peyton Pritchard is not meant to be a starter, but a sixth-man spark. While both the Celtics and Pacers look to get their stars back around the All-Star break, teams like the Bulls and 76ers are taking advantage. However, I doubt those hot starts will be maintained, and look for the Cavs and Knicks, last year's 1 and 2 seeds, to still be near the top of the conference. However, don't be surprised by some younger teams. The Pistons are sneaky good with the development of Cade Cunningham. Ultimately, though, I have the Magic coming out on top of the East, at least in the regular season. Now, LeBron missing opening day vaulted even further into the debate of who will take his crown as face of the league. Stars like Steph, KD, or even Giannis and Jokic are into their 30s, so who will the new guard be, and who's going to be in front of them all? There's a lot of hype around these current rookies, but there's just too little sample to put any of them in this conversation. The 5 guys I have here are Tyrese Halliburton, who's got the charisma to go along with his recent NBA Finals run. You have Luka Doncic, who's averaging almost a 40-point triple-double. You have the defending MVP and Finals MVP Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, as well as Anthony Edwards, the new face of USA Basketball, coming off back-to-back conference finals appearances. However, the one I think will take LeBron's mantle as face of the league and too high have winning the MVP this year is Victor Wembanyama, the French phenom and basketball alien. He's averaging 33 points, 13 rebounds, and 6 blocks, and those are some prime Wilt stats to have. He's leading his team to wins with a hot 3-0 start for the Spurs, but his versatility is what's most exciting to me, though, as he's growing as a passer and with his footwork. His defense and inside scoring will always be there, but he's starting to bring the ball up the court and break down his defenders in isolation. And if he can sustain all of that, watch out, league. Now, that's all I have on the start of the NBA season, but to see how other athletes are hitting their mark, let's hear from Landon about pro darts.
Thank you, Adakai. Now let me introduce to you one of the most underrated, most high energy, most electric sports in the game. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about professional darts. Now, for those of you who don't know how to play darts, the rules are simple. You and your opponent take turns. You throw 3 darts each. You start at 501, and your goal is to hit 0. Here's your point scale. You got your single values, obviously, your doubles, your triples. Your outer bullseye is going to be worth 25, and that inner bullseye, that's worth 50. Last weekend was the European Darts Championship, and let me tell you, it was absolutely electric. This is Luke Littler, 18 years old. Number 2 darts player in the world, upset by 42-year-old James Wade in the round of 16. Let's take a look here at this clutch gene from Wade. Obviously, Littler's not liking what he's got here. Wade, he gets the 20 here. Let's see what he's got. He hits a triple 20. That's going to be 60. Needs a double 14 for the win. He's got it. Ice cold from James Wade. A perfect upset. I have chills from watching that right now. But it only gets better. We are witnessing an all-time classic championship match between number 1 darts player in the world, Luke Humphries, versus a 0-time champion in Gian Van Veen. Just watch here this masterclass. Obviously, Humphries doesn't have what he likes here. Van Veen's going to need 100. A triple 20 and a double 20 would win it for him. Let's see what he's got here. He gets the 20. He's going to need 80 to win here. Snipes that triple 16 right there. A double 16 would take the win. He's taking his time here. Crowds on their feet. Ice cold. Let's see what he's got here. The throw incoming. Does he have it? Right on target. That's a double 16. Look at him go. I mean, what a win for the kid. The crowd's going mad. Look at the sparks. What a sight to see. Hopefully that's got you excited for darts, but for now, we're going to send you to a quick break, and we'll be back shortly with more.
You may not hear it at first, but it's there. Our chant, rising. On this summit, callings converge, voices unify into a chorus that sounds out for good, for greatness. Can you hear it?
Finishing off today's episode, we are bringing back some classics with Zach and Johnny's bringing the boom. The roundtable of Landon, Michael, and Jane returns once again as well. And finally, after decades of hiding and waiting, Johnny's betting segment has reemerged and it's better than ever before. Man, these are 3 of my favorite segments, and they're all in one episode. Lucky us. Let's kick it off with Johnny and Zach.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another great episode of Bringing the Boom. Johnny and I have been itching for the past couple of weeks to get back into the studio and to go over these incredible plays from last week. It's been way too long, hasn't it, Johnny?
It sure has, Zach. Way too long indeed. We've got a great lineup today. We've got big hits, insane runs, and maybe a Jayhawk.
And maybe even some gymnastics.
Maybe.
Let's jump right in as we break the top 4.
Right here, we're going to take a look at Javonte Williams.
Oh my gosh, a headbutt, he's still going forward. What a run by Javonte as he smashed Marshawn Lattimore.
Marshawn Lattimore and just completely runs through him. On number 2, here we have an
impact. That's Washington on the end around. Oh, he is upended.
For Jaguars, Parker Washington, wide receiver, into a spin cycle. Here's the gymnastics we were talking about, folks.
On our next clip, we have Josh Blackwell of the Bears just absolutely annihilating Mason Tipton of the Saints. Oh my goodness, what a hit.
One from the front, and then he gets spun around and gets hit again. I couldn't.
Insane.
And then for our last and final, we have the one and the only, the Jayhawk himself, Daniel Highshaw. Him against basically the entire Kansas State defense here. As it seemed to us in the stands, it seemed like he was down. We were all disappointed a little bit. And then all of a sudden, he comes running through it again. So for me, that's the number 1 of the week.
I kind of agree. The only bright spot on the poor Kansas Jayhawk squad.
Now, everybody, that concludes another week of Bringing the Boom. Thank you for watching, everyone. See you next week. On to Landon, Michael, and Jane as they'll discuss ball, hot takes, and more.
Well, folks, we are back today with a new edition of Red Hot Reactions. Obviously, you know me, it's no secret by now. My name is Landon Baslov. I'm here joined by my co-host Michael Tomasco and Jane Runyon here. We're going to be looking into a more broader topic of things. Got a couple big things to start, but let's get right into it. So, first takeaway of the day. Does Aaron Rodgers have enough left in the tank to bring the Steelers to a championship or perhaps just a deep playoff run? Michael, what are you thinking here?
Absolutely. I think so 100%. He's passed for almost 1,500 yards, 16 touchdowns. He's on pace to do better than the last 2 seasons. I think he's looking great.
Any thoughts, Jane?
Yeah, I mean, I think he could do it. I don't know about the Super Bowl, but I think he does have a spot in the playoffs.
You know, I mean, not to discredit Aaron Rodgers, I think he's playing great personally, but in my opinion, I don't think the Steelers have enough. I mean, you saw how they played last night versus the Packers. Aaron Rodgers played good. I don't think the Steelers have enough star power on that defense. Specifically,
he looks great, but I think it's more on Mike Tomlin. I mean, he's getting them over 500, but can he lead them to the final play?
I mean, let me look into next week. They do play the Colts, and the Colts, you know, obviously they're on fire. And do we think Aaron Rodgers has enough to stop the Red Hot Colts?
I think so.
I don't think so,
Maybe.
Personally. Our next take of the day. What do we think is happening in Cincinnati? Because obviously Joe Burrow's out. Joe Flacco is doing all he can in Cincinnati, but I mean, what's got to be done in Cincinnati? Any words, Jane?
I mean, I think the main issue is the defense. I mean, we've had it struggle last year, too, with Joe Burrow just leading the team. Our defense just isn't good.
You know, and I have to agree with that. I mean, that organization should have a fire lit under them. They need to build a defense. There were issues with the Trey Hendrickson situation. They got their first-round pick, Shamar Stewart, but they waited months to sign him. I mean, what are you doing? You're wasting Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase's prime, and it's almost out, I'll tell you that.
And I think so, too. Look, I've never looked at this team like the team that they're going to take the next step. They've never been able to finish the job, and the Chiefs are always going to be a big bro to the Bengals.
I mean, since that Super Bowl run, they've had nothing, honestly. It's a very hypothetical if Joe Burrow is good, but I don't think he is personally. You know, our last take of the day, we're taking it over to the NFC, but we're going to Chi-Town, baby. Chi-Town, stand up. But you might want to sit back down, actually. The question on everyone's mind, is Caleb Williams on pace to be a bust? I'm going to go personally and say that I think he has not been living up to his expectations. I mean, you saw news reports, analysts, experts, all saying that he was going to be the next Peyton Manning, the greatest prospect of the decade. And I mean, he's above average at best.
Absolutely not. Listen, he was failed by the coaching staff in his rookie season. Matt Eberflus, as the head coach of the Bears, was terrible.
Okay,
it was awful.
Okay, but who cares about the rookie
They
season?
had him in the film rooms watching film alone. He was as blind as a bat in there.
Ben Johnson is an offensive
him.
wizard, and he cannot even find any rhythm there.
They failed that
you
poor
had
kid.
the best rookie starting cast probably ever. I mean, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen. You see what Keenan Allen's doing in LA right now.
It's nothing without good guidance. It's nothing without good guidance. They failed him.
I mean, at least
Chicago.
Caleb Williams did better than Justin Fields.
I mean, I get it, but it's not like that's the standard. Justin Fields is what's he been doing in New York? He got benched, came back, great win by the way. But I mean, that's not even the premise. It's the premise that you have the greatest prospect in the modern era, and he's above average. He's top 20 in everything. I personally don't think he's great, and I think he's on pace to be a bust rather than being a superstar.
Everyone needs guidance, but they failed him.
Well, I mean, this week's not just done yet. We have a phenomenal Monday night game as Marcus Mariota, known Chiefs nightmare, is leading the Washington Commanders into Arrowhead to take on the Kansas City Chiefs. But now we're going to take you over to Johnny, who has been resurrected and is now back with his betting segment. Johnny, what's going on?
You thought I was done, but I did it again. Those were the wise words once spoken by the great and well-known poet, Nino Pade. It also happens to be Avery Johnson's latest Instagram caption, but we don't talk about that. I'm officially back, everyone. Thank you to all who mourned my loss the past couple weeks. I promise not to leave you beautiful people again until I do. Now on to the games. We've got a Monday night matchup between the hometown Kansas City Chiefs and the Commanders of Washington. The Chiefs are favored at 11.5 points. That is a huge line for a 4-3 team to have over a 3-4 squad. Washington is getting their dude back in Terry McLaurin, and I just don't know. I'm just kidding. Chiefs by 1 billion. Rashee Rice, my favorite player in all of football, is back. He went for an absurd 7 receptions, 42 yards, and 2 tuds off rip in just 2.5 quarters last Sunday. And with that, I believe the final Infinity Stone was put in the gauntlet. And I believe the Chiefs' offense is now back to being by far the best in the league. I truthfully and without bias believe the Chiefs take home the dub and the spread tonight. Then we go to the Thursday night thriller. It's the Ravens and the Dolphins. Tua has a suspicious eye problem that is definitely not pink eye, and Lamar might be back. Things are getting wild. The Ravens are a 7.5-point favorite coming into this one. However, we just saw One-Eyed Willie come out and play the best game he's had all season against a solid Falcons team. And the Ravens are sitting at 2-5 on the season. Are the Dolphins actually figuring it out? No. The Ravens easily cover the spread with either Tyler Huntley or the man, the myth, the legend, Lamar Demetrius Jackson Jr. I don't see it any other way. It's all tricks, no treats for the Dolphins this Thursday. Thank you, everyone, and of course, bet responsibly. Now back to you, Kyler.
Even though we might not have been able to beat K-State, I think this episode did an amazing job of making me feel better. Also, as usual, I have an update for the best team in the NFL, the Green Bay Packers, as they come up with a win and they beat the Pittsburgh Steelers by 10. Should have probably been 20, but, you know, time is not on our side for that. If you don't feel like watching the World Series, the Monday Night Football game between the Commanders and the Chiefs is taking place, and I might go with Johnny on the spread. Chiefs by 1 billion. Well, that's all the time we have for today's show. In the meantime, stay safe, lock in on your midterms, and run it back.